So I'm going to start this off with a quote that I heard before I got here today from fictional demon hunter John Constantine. Because, yep, that's where this story's going. In a cartoon I watched earlier, he said, we often pin the devil on things that happen in the world. But sometimes it isn't demons that's causing those problems. It's just because the world is that way. And that sort of a lot of times can relate that to my own life. Mainly like right now where I'm staring at this light like everyone else has. So last month I didn't tell a story. I had a couple weeks before had a major anxiety attack and I could not take it. A friend of mine had invited me to go see They Might Be Giants. Really excited to go. And after the first act of 3, where they performed all 3 acts, after the first act, I got so claustrophobic and freaked out and went and hid alongside the wall, where I proceeded to spend the next 2 acts curled up into a ball and did not realize that the show was still going on until someone tapped me on the shoulder because everyone was piling out the door. I hadn't had an anxiety attack that bad since college. At least not that I could remember. Obviously, I didn't remember 2/3 of that concert, so who knows? Back in college, I was working 3 jobs. One of them I was paying to work at. One of those, pay us for your credit hours, and then you can basically just spend the next 3 months of hell and not get paid for it. So I had 2 paying jobs, a practicum, internship at another library, plus an extra 9 hours of credit of work, all in graduate school. Yeah, at that point, I was questioning, do I really want this degree? I mean, I'd already gotten a bachelor's degree in English, so that was, I didn't plan on working at McDonald's. I mean, I could, but I wasn't planning on it. And now I'm getting a library degree that was inevitably going to pay me less than working at McDonald's. Way to go. But there I am working on the computer. I have a 20-page research dissertation that I have to complete about my internship. And I've been staring at the screen for the last 20 minutes. And I'm on page 5. I've been working on page 5 for the last 3 days because I've been home a total of 3 hours in those 5 days, which is amazing when libraries close at 9 p.m. So I'm staring at the computer and I can't take it anymore. I don't know what's going on. I've misspelled the same word 20 times, and I don't even know what word I'm trying to spell is. And I just says, that's it. I grab my shoes, I'm out the door, I leave my computer on, I can't take it anymore. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can't sit there in front of the computer. And I just grab my coat and go. It's December. It's freezing cold outside, but if I sit one more minute in front of my computer, I'm going to scream. And I'm running out the door, and my mom asks where I'm going and says, I don't know, I just can't stay here anymore. I gotta figure stuff out. And I basically say, if I make it back, I figured it out. Because I was not in a right mind at that point. I was like, if I could handle running out the door into traffic, I would, but unfortunately that involved putting shoes on at that time when I considered it, and my shoes were across the room, and I just didn't feel like doing that. I mean, just they're on the other side of the room. I don't even know why they were, because the door was right behind me. So I just start going on a drive. And there's not really, at that time, I mean, they've opened up a lot more in the falls since then. There wasn't anything to drive around in the falls to. It was 2007. I'm just start driving. And I finally wind up at, I don't remember which metro parks this is, but I wind up in Monroe Falls. At one metro park hiking trail, there is a gazebo. And I think it was about 5 years earlier, some friends of mine had stopped by our house and said, "We've got to finish this video project for school. Come on, you guys are coming with us." And we filmed something about Greek mythology. I don't remember what it was. But ever since then, that little gazebo, it just felt comfortable. I used to hang out there during on my lunch break when I worked at one of my jobs that just got really disheartening. It was just down the street. So I'd go there and just hang out until I had to drive back. And that's where I ended up going. The gates weren't closed yet, which I thought they were supposed to close at sundown, but then it was after sundown. So I just drove in and I parked. And I sat there in the car. Because again, it was November, December, and it was butt fucking cold out. And I just didn't know what to do. So I start calling friends. And of course, no one is answering the phone. The one friend who I just spoke of, she was at a concert for her sister. I start calling another friend and their phone's not picking up. My sister is, I think at that point, my sister was still in town at that point, but she was busy. She wasn't answering her phone. It was ridiculous. And I just get to the point where I realize, you know what? They all have lives, like I do. The life I'm trying to figure out. Only my life right now is just nothing but an anxiety attack. And I just look up and at that gazebo and realize, you know what though? That's the reason I need to keep going. Is because they're busy now, but they're free later. They're always free later. And about that time, I finally realized I hadn't about to go because it's night in a metro park where God knows who is out in those hiking trails hiding. You know, because if later in life I could wind up getting lost on a hiking trail, there's probably somebody still out there somewhere on that hiking trail where I was. About that time, I get a phone call from the first person I tried to call. And it's basically, can't talk, at a concert. Are you okay? And it's like, yes, I'm finally okay. So I get back to my house, I sit down. I still don't write anything. Of course, this paper's due in like 3 days, and I've only gotten 5 pages written. But I don't get anything written for another day or two. Finishing it up all of the last minute. Because that's the way you do things. So, I'm going to finish this story with another pop culture demon hunter. Angel, the vampire. One episode near the end of the series where he is trying to get down to hell, and the lawyers take him to an elevator that goes straight down to hell. And he gets off the elevator to the exact same place he got on the elevator at. Because that's what hell is. Hell is what we make it. Hell is what's around us, if it's really bad. And so my own personal hell was just many different things. My anxiety over things that I cannot control. My anxiety standing up here on stage where I'm basically this entire time, Kyle, I've been looking at you. That's the only thing I can do. It's the little things in life that we have to conquer every day just to get by. Whether it's standing up on stage, whether it's dealing with former coworkers, or just dealing with that one paper that will never get rid and somehow pass. That's what I say is the little health of